Hello, I'm Richard Herring.
I'm Abdullah Crowley.
And this is Sight on Screen. Yeah, the trilogy continues.
Yeah, this should round off our...
Are there any more?
I don't know. I mean, this
I'm trying to
seems
think.
Well, this seems like the end of the era, really.
It must be, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to round off our Kurt Russell
Kurt Russell, John Carpenter
special
triplicate joint. I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we watched Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep.
And then
Escape from New York. New York, not L.A. Oh, yeah. that would be the next one, I guess. But
I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
Escape. Yeah, we did Escape from New York, and now we watched
The Thing.
Yeah, 1982.
The 1982.
Not 2011.
Yeah.
Not ever the one from 2011.
Oof. Like if you really want to go out there, you can watch The Thing from
Outer Space. The Thing from Outer Space, which I believe is 1954.
Yeah,
that's a Howard Hawks movie.
Yeah, which they kind of reference in this one.
Oh yeah, no,
they pay an homage to it.
It's also the title font is taken from that.
True. And I actually saw that one first.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I had heard of The Thing, and I knew I was much younger at the time. I'd heard of The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was a big movie. And I didn't really know who was in it at the time. Didn't recognize Kurt Russell. I was like 10 years old or 11 years old. And one day at the library I saw The Thing. It was the same font. It looked like a space movie or something from outer space. And I was like, all right, this seems like interesting. I put it in, watched it. It was boring.
Yep, because it's just a whole bunch of people with, we're in the Antarctic. Why are we just wearing normal uniforms and there's no snow and nothing? Nobody seems very cold.
Very low budget.
Yeah,
but it was great.
Yeah,
remembering it, it's fond memories. But
it's entertaining, but it's entertaining in that way that older films are because they are silly. It's got a little bit of the Plan 9 thing going on.
Not that bad.
It's not that bad, but it is a bit paper mache.
It is very much actually paper mache.
I remember that movie and I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, this set design was done by someone who had a kindergarten teacher education.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's great. And I watched that first, and then much later, I was well in my teens when I saw The Thing. Yeah.
Okay, you were late to this party. I watched this when I was 14.
Yeah, no, I was more like 17, 18 when I saw this movie for the first time.
I'll be honest with you. I was kind of a weird kid where I watched... My first, oh my god moment for movies was being 12 years old and watching Apocalypse Now.
That's a heck of a movie to do that.
That's where it all started. So for me, it was kind of like... I'd already kind of started there, so anything after that point was fine.
Wow. Apocalypse Now. Wow, that's a movie.
Oh, I love that movie. That is one of my favorite movies.
But that is like a 3 or 4 hour epic, so that requires an investment.
Only if you watch the Redux. The theatrical cut is like just over 2.
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
I heard it was nonsensical though.
The Redux?
The theatrical one.
Oh no, the Redux one is worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I've only ever seen the Redux, so...
Okay, well, I mean, they just did that final cut, which is kind of the best of both worlds. So I actually recommend that one. I saw the 4K...
That's the one on the Blu-ray? That's the one on the Blu-ray?
The one on the new Blu-ray, yeah. The 4K restoration and a new edit by Francis Ford Coppola.
Okay.
And it's taking some of the better parts from the Redux version, but it left out some of the uncomfortable parts, and it streamlined a bit of the theatrical cut.
Okay.
So it all fits together a little bit. Because you're right, the theatrical cut is a bit too nonsensical. It doesn't have quite enough information to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, that's what I heard when I was researching the movie.
And the Redux, unfortunately, has so many scenes that are so unnecessary that, I mean, there's one scene in particular for which the finding the Playmate bunnies after the fiasco, that's been removed for the final cut. That whole sequence is gone. And I'm watching the final cut and I know where that edit is, and I'm thinking to myself, please, Francis, tell me you did the right thing. Cut straight to the French people. Yes! Thank you, Francis. Thank you.
Not that you guys could see, but I was shaking my head, and I had my hand.
Oh yeah, you were very that scene is questionable.
Yeah, there's a lot of things questionable in that movie, but it's great.
But that scene there particularly, that's still a great movie. I mean, it is very much of its time. I mean, the one thing I will say though, The Thing, 1982.
Bringing it back.
We're really making an effort here, folks, because we know the last couple of weeks.
I was about to say, tangent aside.
Man, the last couple of weeks we have been rough for this.
We've been real rough. I feel sorry for our listeners.
I don't. They know what they signed up for. It's their own problem. I don't know why they hit play. It's their problem.
It's their problem now.
Deal with it.
Signing off.
We're done. Throws the mic out the window. Oh no, but this movie here was not of its time. This movie was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's actually in a lot of ways, and especially in certain aspects of the horror elements, it's still ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Right now, so historically speaking, it was always horror used to be, oh, this is a monster. John Carpenter comes in with Halloween and says, no, a man is going to be the monster.
Well, no. Here's the thing. I'm gonna stop you right there and put a small pin in that. We've had prestige horror. Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist.
Was that before?
Yeah,
Halloween.
70s. It was 74, but I mean, there's always been that distinction. There's prestige horror, which is usually either religious-based or psychological horror. Mm-hmm. That kind of is. Rosemary's Baby is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, that's definitely psychological horror.
And then on the other side, you've had genre horror, which is pretty much where Halloween really kind of came into its own.
Yeah, because it was the first slasher.
Yes, even though that's debatable now in terms of does it qualify anymore, considering what the slasher genre has become. But
that's true.
It certainly started the whole reformatting of horror as a young people's movie.
Yeah.
Because it was aimed at a younger audience.
Yeah, you had high schoolers, even though they were 30 years old.
Yeah. Oh, God, they look it too, don't they?
The typical Hollywood, I'm going to cast this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis was the right age, I think, but all the men in the movie were definitely way older, and it's kind of uncomfortable.
And all the women who were nude
yeah.
must have been much older as well.
God, we hope so. But,
But yes.
Yeah, no, and Carpenter absolutely did kind of refresh the young people's horror movies, because that used to be really, I mean, it wasn't scary. It was all kind of just, I mean, it really hadn't left too far behind stuff like The Thing from Another World. It was all kind of cheesy.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But yeah, so he's kind of known for kind of refreshing things around. This movie, The Thing, is in 82, which is after Alien.
Yeah Alien is 79.
79.
Yeah.
Alien also kind of did, Ridley Scott did things very differently there, where it was more focused on what you don't see as opposed to what you do see. Mm-hmm. The xenomorph or the alien was always hidden in the shadows. Yep. Even when they do show it full frame, you never really see the full thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and since then, most horror movies have really taken more from Alien than it has from The Thing, where, you know, right now, horror, if you're going to go for good horror, not your cheap B movies, but good horror usually has a lot of quick cuts, you don't really see things very clearly, a lot of things are implied, things like, what The Quiet Place tried to be, at least. Yeah. Things like The Conjuring, I guess.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
And the only movies that really take from The Thing are more art house films, like Hereditary, The Witch, or The Vivitch, depending on how you...
The Vivitch,
depending on how you...
Or, like I mentioned to you, the one that actually really took quite a lot from it was The Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight?
I mean, this is the thing, is kind of... The Thing... Because what The Thing actually did, it is, and this is something that is academically been discussed. This is, again, one of those movies I have actually written papers on back when I was doing, like, film studies and such, is that it's considered the first truly postmodern horror film. Because up until this point, horror was always based on an external threat. There is something out there we don't know coming to get us. This movie is all about there is something in us. Yeah. That is coming to get us. It's very,
or among us.
Yeah, there's something not outside of the human system, something inside the human system. Yeah. The human body itself is the weapon against us. It's taking a lot of these clearly set boundaries on who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and kind of messing around with that. And it's doing it in a very genre way.
Yeah. Yeah, it never feels like it's a movie that's trying too hard or anything like that. No. It really, I mean, Carpenter's really good at this, where when he makes a movie, it's, like you're saying, genre films, they feel like they belong, essentially. It's not someone who's trying to make an art house film. It's not like a David Lynch kind of situation where they're trying to be outside of the norm, essentially.
No, because...
Or surrealist.
I mean, here's the thing. The Thing, just like pretty much every John Carpenter movie, if you get right down to brass tacks, is a Western.
Yeah, I guess that's why
it works. It's a bunch of men on the frontier of some bad situation having to deal with some problem.
Yeah, why it meshes so well with The Hateful Eight, like you were saying. So yeah, and apparently there's more coincidences with The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I mean, it is, when Tarantino was, this is quite normal in film practice, which is that you ask your cast and your crew to watch one or a few specific movies to kind of prep you for what you're aiming for in your production.
Yeah, or read some books or something.
Yeah, you have prep material. Baby Driver was all about the music. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. This one, the only film Tarantino told the cast to watch was The Thing.
Yeah.
And that's very much in prep, because, I mean, he also cast Kurt Russell.
I was about to say.
Yeah,
I mean, he actually cast Kurt Russell.
With sporting a surprisingly similar beard.
Yeah, that's true,
It's actually like, McCready, all grown up, pretty much would be that character from Hateful Eight.
Pretty much. He is just as cynical.
Oh, even more so. Yeah. More woman punchy, but admittedly this movie has women.
That was really uncomfortable when I saw Hateful Eight, because I was right in the beginning with Samuel Jackson. I just see him punching this woman. I was like, oh, wow. I'm not prepared for this.
Wait, have you not seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, if you struggle with Hateful Eight. So, moving on. Oh.
Another interesting fact that you brought up, which was again, because we're on the topic of Hateful Eight, the music.
Yeah, no, this is an Ennio Morricone score. This is, I think, the only major Carpenter film that isn't entirely scored by him. Yeah. He got in Morricone for most of this film, and the parts of the music score that weren't used for this film, that were left over, got actually put into the Hateful Eight. It's one of the major inspiration sources for a lot of what Tarantino has got from Morricone. Because Morricone has done most of Tarantino's movies for score. And Hateful Eight took a lot from the original soundtrack of this.
Yeah, so a lot of similarities.
A lot of similarities, and that's intentional. That's very much because Tarantino is trying to emulate this movie in his Western.
Yeah, and this kind of movie is often referred to, I think you said, chamber movies, which is basically a bunch of people in a single location trying to solve some kind of problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's got
discussing something.
Yeah, it's set up in the same way where you have a limited cast in a single location, and they're locked to that location for some reason.
Yeah. A great example that I brought up immediately is The Man from Earth.
Yep. Which is a great film.
So it's a film that we both highly, highly recommend. Don't watch the sequel.
Don't watch the sequel.
Watch the original.
Watch the original, and
it's a fantastic indie movie.
Yeah,
that's that does everything an indie movie should do, which is
very much so.
Which is you stick to your budget.
Yep.
And you focus on the things that you do have control over, and not the things that you don't have control over.
Yep. You get as many good character actors as you can. You don't worry about getting anyone popular.
Yeah.
You get people who can actually act.
Exactly.
You put them in a room, you give them a good script, and you let them run.
Good script, great dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Great discussions.
Yeah, no, and that's a talkie movie, but it's a talkie movie that works.
It's a talkie movie where the concept is so interesting and the dialogue is so engaging that you're there with them. And you're sort of one of the crowd, essentially, you feel, because...
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is that some movies you look at and you think, this would make a great stage play or something. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that would make... The Man from Earth would make a great audiobook.
Oh, yeah.
It's got very much that almost like a radio quality feel to it, some of it.
Yeah, and it's mostly voiced by the main character, so...
Oh, yeah. No, it's very narrated.
Yeah. But back to the thing.
Just watching the movie, we're leaving it behind.
Yeah. But bringing it back, so this is similar in the sense where you're it's a bunch of people stuck in a location.
Yeah, and it's a solid setup too. I mean, this is again something they kind of took from the original 1954 Thing from Another World, where it is a American research station
in Antarctica.
And and they're really good at getting a lot of the baseline stuff done early on. The exposition is very well written into the movie. Mm-hmm. We have no radio contact. The weather's terrible, so we can't go anywhere by helicopter, or we can't go too far. We are locked in this location. We have no communication, and we have no transportation. That's done right up front. We know where we're at.
Yeah, and you get to meet the people that encountered this thing or whatever before, right at the beginning.
Yeah, no, we're
in Norwegian base.
Yeah, we're which is quite funny because both of us speak Norwegian.
Yeah,
which means that for this movie is a little different. I don't know how it was for you, but for me, this movie came on and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this movie, you don't know what's going on," and because one of the characters says what the actual movie is in Norwegian.
Yeah,
right at the beginning, you're just sitting there going, well, I know what's going on.
Yeah, no. And, like I told you, the whole reason why I saw the original 54 movie was because I knew it had something to do with aliens on Earth.
Yep.
And it was called The Thing. Hey. It was called The Thing and had a very unique font, and that's what I thought I was watching.
I can't even begin to imagine what you must have been thinking of those people who recommended it.
I was like, I guess I'm just too young to understand
this movie. Why is this such a big deal?
Yeah. But no. Eventually, I saw...
I get that. It's like being a kid and trying to watch Citizen Kane. You're not going to get it.
Heck, yeah, even as an adult and watching Citizen Kane, it can be difficult. Especially, I love that movie too, but I'm just speaking in general. It is, especially in this day and age, it is not your typical moviegoer kind of movie.
It's actually kind of coming around a little bit. There's been a lot of movies recently that have been a little bit reminiscent. Ides of March or whatever the hell that George Clooney
I love that movie.
Yeah, but there's a lot of those kind of movies kind of coming back into vogue now. Kind of weirdly.
Maybe.
I think we respect audiences more now than we did for a period of time, and we respected them more before that again. We've had a period without trust.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Plan 9, because famously Ed Wood did speak, at least according to some sources, and it's portrayed in the movie Ed Wood by Tim Burton, where he actually meets up with Orwell. Orson Welles. Orson Welles. Close to Orwell. Orson Welles.
Close. My brain just went there because he did that radio play. Moving on.
Orson Welles, and he tells him that was the only movie that he didn't have studio interference with.
Yep.
So that was the one movie that he had total control, and turned out to be his best movie.
Oh, by far and away. And hey, he didn't have to have any character in blackface for it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Touch of Evil.
We don't mention that.
Still a great opening, though, that ticking time bomb.
Anyway. Back to...
We really can make a tangent out of anything, can't we? It's unbelievable. What are we doing?
Sure.
It's a good thing we don't have a radio show, because we would have been canceled ages ago.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you're supposed to be reviewing the movie. Why are you talking about this?
Interviewing people would have been interesting.
Yeah, oh boy. Yeah. We would have asked some good questions.
Very divergent questions, that's for sure.
What did you have for breakfast?
In any case.
We have too much fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so
we have a good setup. We know setup. Yeah. And we've got a cast of characters. The one thing I will say, which isn't truly in this film's favor, it's kind of one of the only complaints I have about it. The cast is just that little bit too large, and the characters not quite well enough introduced to keep a track of everybody.
True.
There's some of these there's like a handful of characters who you can really keep a track of.
Yeah, it's the handful that kind of remain in the latter half of the movie.
Yeah, but you got a couple of dead meats that you really just kind of know from the start you're going to lose because of the lack of depth they're given from the start.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think this movie would have been better off with a smaller cast, more intimate, and not been killing them off so nonchalantly.
Yeah, but
some of them go kind of weird.
Yeah, some of them do kind of just go. I mean, one of them just like we literally just catch up afterwards and go, "Oh shit, he's gone."
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
Yeah, it literally happens. Which is a nice
nice touch, but it would have mattered more if I could remember the dude's name.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah.
Because, I mean, we do have some actual standouts here. We got Kurt Russell. He is MacReady. Who is the helicopter pilot who wears a Pancho Villa hat and is amazing.
He's got a great leather jacket.
And
he plays chess master.
Yeah, well, he did in the first 5 seconds before he gets pissed off with the machine, pours his Jim Beam into it and says, "Cheating bitch."
Yeah. Like a machine can cheat.
Yeah, it's just like, but what a way to introduce a character.
That's how he's introduced.
Okay, we know who this guy is. Yeah. He's our uncle who throws his phone when he can't run an app.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's me. No, I'm just joking. But,
no, you're not.
But yeah.
You gotta wonder though, how much did that chess machine cost back then?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of those things that's homaged so often.
Oh yeah, that thing is just everywhere.
But yeah, it's a really great introduction to a character.
Yep.
And you also understand that he might be a pilot, but he's also intelligent.
Yep. He's not dumb, but he isn't a scientist.
No, he's not a scientist.
No.
Which makes him a little bit more gung-ho, I guess.
Yeah, we got the other one who's gung-ho is Keith David as Childs.
Keith David, I love that guy.
Keith David is amazing. If we're going to do another kind of follow-up to this series, I recommend They Live, Keith David and Rowdy Rod Piper.
Rowdy Rod Piper.
Directed by John Carpenter.
Again.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
We're going down the Carpenter train.
It has the longest consecutive fist fight in film history.
Really?
Up until that point, yeah. Because Rowdy Rod Piper was a wrestler.
Yeah.
He got cast into this movie.
He's the maniac.
Him and Keith David got together and choreographed like an 8-minute fight between them where they're just beating the crap out of each other. They showed it to Carpenter and he put the entire thing on screen.
Why not?
And it's awesome. Because they're not holding punches at all. They were just...
Really?
Yeah, you were just watching two buff men beating the living crap out of each other over a pair of sunglasses, and it's amazing.
I mean, the Keith David I love is the one who... That's actually just the one scene, or not even a scene, it's like, like a second of Requiem for a Dream. When he's just... that smile that he has. I love that smile. It's so disgusting.
Didn't take it out to breathe.
It's such a disgusting smile. It's great.
What is it he says? He has an amazing line there. It's kind of like,
I've seen that movie so often too.
You're Maid Marian and I'm Little John, or something like that. It's just like, it's such a terrible thing to watch.
Oh yeah, but that whole movie is a tough watch.
It is a really tough watch. Darren Aronofsky is a weird dude.
Yeah,
he's a hell of a filmmaker, but he is a weird dude.
This is gonna be a heck of a tangent, but speaking of Darren Aronofsky,
go.
I love. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I probably have. Sure. I think Aronofsky, kind of straddles a really, really great line where he likes to bring surrealist elements in his movies.
Yep.
But never go too far to where it becomes almost nonsensical for most audiences.
I'm gonna pause you right there. The Fountain.
Yeah. What about that?
I would have said that surrealist element goes not maybe too far in that movie, but for most audiences, really? Come on.
I love that movie.
It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong.
It's one of my favorite movies.
It's an amazing movie.
You're hurting me now, Richard.
No. But that's a movie that I think most people really just didn't know where to take.
Actually, what's great with that movie, and I did this sort of experiment with an ex. I showed her the movie. She obviously was a bit lost.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it's the kind of movie that you would benefit from watching multiple times.
Yes, I agree.
Even though the subject matter is so heavy that you shouldn't watch it multiple times.
Says the man who claims this is one of his favorite movies.
One of my... I've seen it so many times. Of
course you have.
That and Requiem for a Dream.
You dark dude, man.
Anyway. Really. I even it out with Zack Snyder.
Every time.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Anyways, the trailer for that movie does a great job explaining it.
It does, actually. Yeah, no, the trailer does a good job.
So I showed her the trailer afterwards, and a lot of things clicked.
Yep. Yeah, no, I can understand that. I mean, Aronofsky's pretty much just the double punch that was The Wrestler and Black Swan.
Oh.
That is a 1-2 punch for the ages. That for me,
I believe he got Academy Awards for both those movies.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
I mean, not him personally, but those movies won
both
Academy
movies,
Awards,
especially The Wrestler.
Yeah, no,
Wrestler racked it in. Mickey Rourke coming back, in a big way, but boy, oh boy, did that movie just pack a punch. And it's amazing. Both those movies are just so good.
Yeah.
I do really like Mother.
Yeah, me too.
But it's a weird movie.
The ending kind of goes a bit too far.
It gets so nuts.
It goes a bit too far, I agree.
Yeah, that's a movie where I really do it. That's a movie I like, but I struggle to recommend.
Yeah, most of Aronofsky's movies, except for those two, Wrestler and Black Swan, are the only two where I can recommend wholeheartedly, while the others deal with some pretty heavy topics or show some pretty heavy
Requiem
things.
You can recommend, but with a caveat. You can just kind of give it right up front, just like, ladies and gentlemen, please be aware this movie will mess you up. You are not going to feel the same walking out of this movie.
Because it's not a violent movie per se. It's just such a it's a visceral movie, and it's devastating.
Devastating, and it is devastating on a personal level. Yeah. Because, unfortunately, at least I haven't met anybody who watched that movie and couldn't relate it to somebody. Yeah. You can always, there's this whole host of characters, and you always know at least one of these people or someone walking down the same road. Yeah. And that's a really hard thing. And it's well done, because boy, oh boy, you want to get someone off something? Yeah. Woo. Show them that. Show them that movie. Come on.
And that does an amazing job of showing that spiral.
I mean, that's the context I saw it in. It was shown in my school.
Really?
Yeah. This was
disturbing.
That was shown in school as it was voluntary. Oh boy, I must have been 16. Yeah, 16, 17. Oof. And that was it was very clearly like you needed your parents' permission, and it was put on for the purposes of the education, but it was highly encouraged. Yeah. And for good reason. I mean, that thing will scare you right off almost anything, really. Yeah. That movie's rough.
But this one, not so much. It's not that rough. No. Although the monster designs are amazing.
It was rough when it came out, though. Yeah. It was really rough when it came. I mean, this is the thing. This movie really kind of almost broke Carpenter's career. He was on a real high, because Halloween made the most money per investment of any film ever made up till this point.
And we also know that he did Escape from New York before this.
Escape from New York, which also was hugely successful. I mean, he was kind of the pioneer of taking genre films to the big screen. Yeah. Suddenly we weren't drive-in anymore. We were on the big screen. We had big stars. We were making this happen. The genre film was kind of like, it was the first nerd revolution almost. I mean, Star Wars had really wiped the slate clean. You can make a genre film make big money. Yeah. And Star Wars did it pretty much for all, like the blockbuster, Halloween and Jaws did it for the horror movie.
You're absolutely right.
They're the ones who kind of knocked it out and said, "Look, you can make money here, everybody."
Yeah, because you can't really forget Jaws and the impact that it had.
Yeah, no, and Jaws was the first summer blockbuster. Yeah, and Halloween kind of became the first teen blockbuster. We finally had that kind of like, it was, subversive, but not too much, and it was made to a very younger audience, but it was a horror movie. It kind of broke new ground and created its own audience.
And it started a lot of the tropes that we see nowadays.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
The hornier the teen, the more likely they're killed.
Yeah, I mean, it was really that thing where the debate between what's the first true slasher. I would personally say the first true slasher is Friday the 13th. Because that's the first one that kind of created the formula. Halloween is the first one who kind of showed this market existed.
Yeah, I agree. And then it kind of closes that chapter really well in the second movie.
Yeah, and then they went...
And then they went and did a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yep. I mean, admittedly not directed by Carpenter. He produced...
in the lightest sense of the term.
Yeah, he got a paycheck.
He got a paycheck.
He got a real paycheck.
For creating the characters.
Oh, man. Well, the third one doesn't even have the characters.
That's true. Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
I respect the most out of all the Halloween movies.
It has a pear on it, I'll tell you that much. It's got stones.
It's got stones. Because it tried to do... I mean, these two movies were so successful.
Oh, yeah.
The first and the second one.
Huge.
That the fact that they said, you know what? We're gonna stick with the canon that Carpenter wanted. The thing is dead. The shape or whatever he's called is dead. We're gonna do it ontological. We're gonna have a brand new set of characters, brand new story.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We're gonna have brand new stories. We've lost the shape. It's been awesome. What are we gonna replace him with? How about that guy from Cheers? We're gonna make him an alcoholic. How about that, everybody? Let's make that the main character.
It was a decision.
Okay, what's the bad guy? Oh, it's an Irish dude who's a witch, but he's stolen pieces of Stonehenge to destroy the children of America using robots who look like people in business suits.
And masks, don't forget the mask.
The mask! What was it? Silver Shamrock.
Oh my god, yes, the Silver Shamrock.
I mean, this is the thing. That movie is so brave. You kind of wish someone had taken control of the situation. That car was veering off the road. but
yeah, so that did this thing.
But this movie,
and then many years later, Nicolas Cage came out with a Season of the Witch as well. Completely different movie.
That movie's boring.
A completely different movie. Has nothing to do with Halloween.
How could they make a buddy cop medieval comedy, buddy cop movie? In medieval times with Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage. And it's boring.
I know.
It's so boring.
I don't know how they did it. It's kind of like...
kind of amazing.
Yeah. Back on track.
But that's the thing. I mean, Carpenter was on a roll.
Yeah.
And then the thing came out, and it pretty much just snapped him down the middle.
Yeah, because...
This was supposed to be his break into the big time of Hollywood. And it
had a big budget on shows.
Big budget. Big cast. I mean, this was supposed to be his kind of like, look, I'm playing with the big boys now. Mm-hmm. I can be up there with like James Cameron's. I can be one of those guys. Because James Cameron did Terminator around like 2 years later.
The second Terminator, didn't do the first one, did he?
James Cameron?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I don't think he did.
He did. He absolutely did. James Cameron did the first Terminator.
Maybe.
I'm telling you he did. No, he really... I'm. That's not even me guessing. I'm telling you he did.
I don't remember that it was... I might have been mistaken. I might be conflating it with the fact that he did Aliens and not the first Alien.
Yes, he did. Ridley Scott did Alien.
Yeah.
James Cameron did Aliens. He did both the Terminators.
Okay.
He didn't do the third one or the fourth one or any of that crazy nonsense, but he did. He did the first two completely.
He approved Dark Fate.
Yes, thank you, James.
With the T-1000.
With the T-1000. He also did Titanic, so...
Yeah, we'll give him a pass.
Titanic's alright, but...
We'll give him a pass on Titanic.
Yeah.
Alita Battle Angel was also okay.
I never watched that. I couldn't get past the eyes. I gotta tell you, you want to talk about a moment that'll break you? I watched that. I was watching another movie, and the opening trailer on the cinema was that... And this girl turns around and I had an honest-to-God heart attack. I'm like, what is happening?
And the weird thing is, the actual actress they used has really big eyes.
Yep.
They could have just used her.
They could have, but no. Man, that was freaky. I'm like, nope.
Because all the other, like, cyborgs or whatever are just regular humans with
eyes
with CGI
freaked me out because it was not what I was expecting. I wasn't really paying attention, and then that creature came on screen and I had a moment. But the thing almost broke Carpenter's career. Boy, we really are. We're trying so hard. We're terrible. We are awful at this. But, and it really kicked him out. I mean, this was kind of the beginning of the end for his really winning streak. Panned
by critics, did really well, did really awful in the box office.
Yeah, I mean, it did. This is the thing. If this movie had been just a few years later, it probably would have saved itself on rental.
Oh, yeah.
But we weren't there yet. This is 1982. Blockbuster really didn't come into its own until, like, 86.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this movie lost out. It was a genre flick before the genre flick could be self-supported on home video. Mm-hmm. And
which is where most Disney sequels were.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you want to get into that tangent.
Well, so many tangents. But, I mean, because what did he do after this? I'm trying to actually think now.
Well, we can look it
up. I mean, it's... I'm trying to... His 80s output was solid, but it wasn't quite there compared to that early 80s kind of run he had.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what he did. Regardless.
Yeah, here we go. No, we got it here. So
okay, so here we go. Resurrection, Bronco, Escape from New York.
So Dark Star was kind of his big one. He did Assault on Precinct 13.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes Halloween. Then comes The Fog, which is a great movie. I love that. Escape from New York. Halloween 2. The Thing.
And then
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch,
which he's executive producer on.
Yeah.
He's not, and he's credited as a co-writer. Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, and then
but he didn't direct again until
he did
2
Christine.
years later. Christine.
Yeah.
How?
No, next year is Christine, 1983. That's the car that kills everybody movie. It is the soundtrack is fun, but it's completely forgettable.
Yeah.
Starman.
Yeah.
Also
so
with Kurt Russell.
basically started falling. And then gets his rise, where we started this whole thing.
Big Trouble in Little China, then
China.
Prince of Darkness, They Live,
Yeah.
and then really just shot
so
himself in the foot with Memoirs of an Invisible Man. Chevy Chase, man.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, my Lord in heaven.
But I know the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie is something else.
It's, yeah.
And then kind of saves himself a little bit in The Mouth of Madness, Sam Neill, great movie. And that's about as far as we go.
Yeah.
Because everything after that, it was terrible.
Escape from LA in 96. Oh my god.
Vampires with James Woods.
Yeah. No.
Oh my god, that movie is terrible. It's so bad.
And then The Fog remake in 2005. I didn't even know that there was a remake.
The Fog remake's actually pretty decent. The Fog remake has a... Wait, no. What? No, they did a remake. I've never watched that. I was thinking of The Mist.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I know The Mist. It's good. But yeah.
Ghosts of Mars with Ice-T. Ooh. Man, that movie
Isn't that the movie that they parody in Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Show me what you got.
And then he did The Ward in 2010, and it wasn't very good. And that's the last time he directed anything. He's like, nope.
And look at that. Executive producer in Halloween 2018 and 2021.
Yeah, and he pretty much just told everybody straight up that's a paycheck.
Yeah.
He's not really involved.
Yeah, it's weird to see that he's not credited in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
Yeah, no, he had nothing to do with those. They just straight up bought the intellectual property from the studio.
Cool.
So they didn't involve him with that at all. Admittedly, those movies have the strangest cameos of any film ever. There's a lot of things you expect to see in a Halloween movie. Weird Al Yankovic is not one of them.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Him with that.
I actually like guilty pleasure, like the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
I will say that I like the first half of the first movie.
Yes.
Because that isn't a Halloween movie. That's
a prequel, essentially.
You could just call that Hellbilly the movie, and it would have been great.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Halloween.
That's true. I mean, Halloween starts famously with seeing the POV shot.
The POV shot of the boy.
With the mask, and he kills his parents or whatever. And then cut to much later where Loomis is talking about it. Here they kind of focus a bit more on the build-up.
They do a lot of this, like, this is why he's a psychopath thing. The mom's a stripper. It's all very confusing.
Yeah,
the kid is
very on the nose.
It's very on the nose, and everyone's a hellbilly. So I mean, it's very Rob Zombie. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's Rob Zombie.
It's his thing.
Who I kind of enjoy as a filmmaker. He has interesting art direction.
He has interesting art direction, but I'm at least for me, that's kind of what he's got.
Yeah, that's all he's got.
It's kind of where he loses me. Yeah. Also, the fact that, of course, since the stripper mom is his wife,
Shelley Moon Zombie,
because of course she is, because she does that in all of his movies.
Yes, she does.
It's just a weird thing. It's kind of like, okay, there's a stripping sequence. That's the kid's mother, and it's the director's wife. We get it, Rob.
Yeah, you're really proud of your wife.
We get it. Good for you. Nice of you to show her off. Can we stop now? No. Please tell her to put it back on. Dude. Just what is this?
Anywho, back on the thing.
Man,
we both love this movie.
We do. We really do. And I mean, this is the thing as well. I guess everyone kind of knows the beats of this. Don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very well-spoiled movie.
Yeah, I mean...
It's well-known, the little twist ending.
Yeah.
Or, not really a twist, but it's like a thinker of an ending.
Yeah, and it's like we were talking about. It is this kind of postmodern concept where it's not fear of the external, it's fear of the internal.
Yeah. And I think it executes on all that really, really well. The scenes, we have to mention the amazing work by the special effects department.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. This is at least partially Stan Winston is involved in this.
It's some of the best.
It's a real crew, and
it's some of the best practical effects you're going to see ever.
And this is the thing that really sets it apart. It's practical effects that they had faith in.
Yeah.
They do not shy away from this. They do not hide a lot of this.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I was getting at earlier. So now obviously all of it is CGI, which is still, I mean, it's still a special effect, and some of the CGI can be really good, but it's usually hidden. It's quick cuts.
Yep.
They don't really linger on the so-called monsters all that much.
No.
Here they linger on those shots a long time.
So I mean, just to give a little bit of background, we start with Norwegians. They're chasing a dog, and the dog, as the Norwegians thankfully tell us, we're very lucky, is that it's not a dog; it's a thing.
It's some kind of thing.
It's some kind of thing. And the important part here is that it isn't a specific monster with a specific monster design.
No,
this is a creature that is an amalgamation of the animals it consumes.
Yeah, or gets the DNA from.
Yeah, it copies people and animals and takes their forms and kind of infiltrates.
Yeah, or as the computer simulation thankfully tells us in the middle of the movie,
excellent.
It assimilates.
It assimilates.
And
replaces.
Essentially.
Yeah. Man, that computer simulation thing is great.
This is so good. It's so slow.
It's so
great.
Amazing. And the idea is that you don't know who is the thing. This thing is clearly smart. It can hide its tracks. It is not... And it's weird because it's kind of this weird line where the second it's under threat, it's pure animal.
Mm-hmm.
It is a screaming monster made out of flesh and teeth and eyes and bones. And there's nothing cohesive or intelligent about it. It is pure monster.
Mm-hmm.
But right up until that point, it is acting like the person it's replaced. It is hidden amongst you.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's sort of taken over that life. And it just... plays it out as it would.
Yeah, until it can get to other places, and it's like a disease more than it is like a conventional monster.
Yeah, it acts more of like a virus. You're right.
Yeah.
But a very intelligent one.
Extremely. Which means though that when it does go crazy, the monster design has to be insane because it is this organic mess being produced from whatever the host is. And it gets... Or
the collection of DNA.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
Yeah, it's got some dog in there, it's got some human in there, it's got some spider.
Yeah, and there's nothing, lizard, fur, this is all... Not even skin, this is all flesh and bone and it is nasty looking. This thing is goopy.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I was telling you, which is, the fact that it's practical effects, you can really see the viscous nature of its fluids, which you don't really get that much of in CGI.
No,
we still haven't reached those.
We really haven't even come that close. Photorealism isn't there yet. We're not close.
Photorealism is where we're at. As a still, it can look very realistic.
Sure, but in movement and in
motion,
light,
motion and lighting are.
We're not there.
We can get the light perfect in a still, but the moment it starts moving, it starts. You can clearly see that this is not real.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? I recently saw a clip from one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies where they have this Davy Jones character
with the squid face.
Yeah, and it's it's a squid, so it's supposed to have mucus and liquid, and it's wet and it all. And you look at the difference between that creature in that film, which is pure CGI. I think it's Nike that's buried under all that crap. True. And this thing. And it's just worlds apart.
Famously, I think it's Bill Nighy.
It is Bill Nighy, yeah.
Famously, he saw the suits that they had to wear for... most of you probably know, but you have to wear these really skin-tight suits with these blobs on them if you're going to do the CGI. And famously, he went up and saw that, and he just went... I'm not going to wear that. My character would never wear that. Which is a beautiful moment.
My character would get paid more, though. My character would absolutely get paid more, and my character requires a drink. I'm yes, I need a drink. Here's my character. My character needs a drink. Oh, he has an accent. Oh, we've only done 3 weeks of shooting. Never mind. He couldn't have cared less. You know what? Talking about things like that, my favorite little factoid that I just ran across the other day. Martin Feldman on the set of Young Frankenstein, without anyone knowing, kept switching where the hump was. Because he's the hunchback?
Yeah.
And after 3 weeks, they realized he'd been changing it for different scenes, and they had to write it into the script.
Interesting. Don't think I ever caught that. That's really good.
There's an actual moment, because they look at it, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah.
Gene Wilder looks at him one time and goes, "Wasn't your hump on the... And they have this little moment, and he just goes, "What?" And they move on. It's just like they have this little moment where they acknowledge that it's been changing because they had to.
Yeah, rest in peace, Gene Wilder.
Oh man, that is just sad. Him and Ennio Morricone. I mean, yeah, we lost him too.
Speaking of the music,
man, that guy is a legend.
Yeah, because you were saying it's essentially him and
John Williams.
John Williams kind of pioneered the movie score.
Yeah, I mean, because Morricone did a lot of Italian movies in the early 60s, but where American audiences or international audiences really met him, the spaghetti western. That's him. Yeah, I mean, Once Upon a Time in the West, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, A Fistful of Dollars. Those are all Morricone. Sergio Leone only is Morricone.
Yeah.
And Morricone scored before they shot. They would play his music on set.
That's amazing.
And it works so well.
Yeah, because usually they give the footage to the composer. The composer then composes the music.
Sergio Leone said that Ennio Morricone was his best writer.
Makes sense.
Because Ennio Morricone would write his music based on the script. And then they would build shots around how the music moved.
Yeah, I bet the storyboarding and the scenario writing was based on with the music in mind.
Because the music, that's why it fits so well.
Funny enough, I'm gonna do something here.
Oh,
Zack Snyder famously.
Oh, mercy.
Zack Snyder famously, because in a lot of his movies,
if you weren't bigger than me, I would throw you through the window.
I
swear to God.
I have to. As the only Zack Snyder semi-defender, I guess. I have to. Anyways.
Why?
In most of his movies, he uses a soundtrack. He doesn't really score. It's only in the Man of Steel, Batman, whatever, that they really started using score. And they still use Junkie XL for scoring and also selecting the soundtrack.
Right.
So what he does is he usually pops the soundtrack on while he's doing the storyboards. So in a very similar vein to
admittedly,
Leone,
I mean, you gotta love Zack Snyder. Let's take a little moment there and just have fun with your hero.
It's not really my hero. I don't really think
300.
Great.
300 Zack Snyder film. Famously, the only film that has ever been successfully sued for stealing the soundtrack from another movie.
Great.
Yeah. Because there is the big beat from 300. Dun, 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 dun. You know, that section
that's
there.
Played throughout the whole movie.
Yes. That is stolen note for note, composition note for composition note from an Anthony Hopkins movie.
Which one?
Titus.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it's on my list. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh yeah, no,
I literally just saw the cover art and I had to put it on my list.
It's crazy. It's so nuts because we all remember what that sounds like from 300. It's like the dun, dun.
Well, don't play it, I guess.
No, we can get away with like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, that's kind of fascinating. The only movie to be successfully.
Yeah. So you know that you have the 300 one in your head, right? Oh, come on, don't give me the ads. I hate YouTube. I hate it so much when it does this to me.
Well. Wow.
They straight ripped it off.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you got pull the guy.
And so what apparently happened, the story goes that what you do a lot of times when you're editing, if you don't have the soundtrack yet, is that you put in sound from another movie to kind of cover, and they realized that when they were done editing, they'd done it so precisely to this music that they couldn't change it, so they just told their composer to just rip it off and hope nobody would notice.
I mean, they could have just bought the license to...
Nope.
They couldn't?
Oh, no, they could have, but they didn't.
Okay, so they were already over budget, which is typical of Snyder.
Yeah.
That's one of his MOs.
So, just to recap, your hero, Zack Snyder, thief. Moving on.
Not my hero, but great.
You bring him up
I bring him up all the time, because I know how much it annoys you. Plus, he's great. he's an endless source of entertainment.
He's an endless source of something. It steams. So, yeah. So no, this movie is a real. It is almost Agatha Christie-esque. I would have said The Thing.
Sure, that has very typical noir-ish.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know who the killer is. Everybody's a suspect. I mean. The only one we kind of have faith in is McCready because we're
the main character.
He's the one we're following the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of the only safe space.
Yeah, and Kurt Russell does an amazing job. We mentioned while we're watching it again today is he really plays this character not in the comedic way like he does in Big Trouble in Little China, and not in the overly serious, bordering on parody.
So silly. It's so serious it's silly.
Yeah, with Escape from New York.
Yeah.
With Pliskin. Yeah. But here he really shines as an actor because he's actually acting. Yes. Where Laurence Olivier, my dear, it's called acting. I love that. But yeah, he does this really great thing throughout the movie where the character introduction, he plays chess, but he's a pilot, so he's an intelligent person, but he's not the scientist. And you sort of see that play out where others are thinking more meticulously and are scared, and he's kind of just there absorbing it and problem solving.
He seems to be the only one who's aware kind of right from the start. We need to get out of this alive. His whole mentality is survival of the group. He's not thinking about anything else almost.
Yeah, until the halfway mark where that sort of switches to we just need to get rid of this thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit later than the halfway mark, but he does have a turn where he realizes that the priority list has changed.
And that's after he's seen and that's after he has that emotional moment, which is done so well because it's not your typical Hollywood close up or anything. It's actually a pretty wide shot.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of busy work happening around. He's the only one just standing still, absorbing the fact that this person is dead.
Yeah.
And he's just staring at it.
We have a collection of bodies we have just burned.
Yeah.
And it's like we both noted, his despair lasts exactly as long as it takes for the next problem to occur.
Exactly.
The second there's another problem, he's back in the driver's seat.
He's back in it. And even when he seems to be losing control, he has control.
Yep. No,
of
completely.
the situation. But obviously the others don't trust him, and so
nobody trusts anybody. I mean,
nobody trusts anybody.
There's a small bit that's very noir, where it's him sitting with his little recorder, sipping his Jim Beam.
Without ice.
Without ice, yeah. It's like I noticed, he's in Antarctica. It's freezing. Why is there no ice in that drink? Jim Beam is already awful to drink. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Now it's just punishment.
He just reached that moment now.
Yeah.
Of past the point of no return, essentially.
Yeah,
and that's sort of where he realizes that it doesn't matter if we survive. What matters is we just get rid of this thing.
And it's him recording himself, and he literally just has this little moment where he takes a sip of the drink and just says, nobody trusts each other anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it just really escalates.
And it's so beautifully done where the audience... I don't know if the test audience had problems with this, but at least for me, when I was watching this the first time, that's when I understood that, you really didn't need that scene earlier.
Nope.
Where they have to specify, oh no, in 27,000 hours, the whole world would be taken over if we don't kill it.
And you can almost sense that was something that was either cut in or filmed in the expectation that people wouldn't get what was going on.
Yeah, because that scene very solidifies that.
Yeah.
Where it's you know what? This is a danger to the world. and we just have to figure it out.
Yeah. This thing is a disease. I mean, it is... I think we both had a small moment where they're like, because this thing can maybe travel in particles, we should all be preparing our own food. Yeah. And we're both just sitting there going, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're just quarantining.
Yeah, they're quarantining. And they're
I know that game.
They're not following quarantine. Everything's gone wrong.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley.
Gotta
mention Wilford Brimley.
So great to see Wilford.
Yep. Very different here from, what was the name of the movie? Hard Target.
Hard Target.
Where this jolly old Santa on a horse with shooting
a raging Cajun. I mean, this is the thing that Wilford Brimley, here in Hard Target, he's going like full on with this ridiculous fake accent. Here, he's kind of not got an accent, which is so weird, because he's usually full Montana.
Yeah.
I'm used to hearing him talk about diabetes.
Diabetes.
I lost my trigger finger to diabetes. But here he's he plays a scientist. He actually plays it quite well.
He plays it very well. He's actually the first one to sort of catch on and realize that...
really the first one. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's the first one to go, oh shit, we gotta get rid of this thing.
Admittedly, he's the guy who goes, oh shit, and then immediately starts taking an axe to the environment.
Yeah.
And then you hear that, then you hear him, then you're like, oh, there's the Montana. He's talking very calmly and everything's fine, and then... None of us are gonna get out of here alive. Just like, oh yeah, here we go. And him shooting the gun like he's in a 1954 cop movie is amazing.
Or he's throwing it down while he shoots
bang, bang. He's like, okay, who are you chasing? Babyface? Come on.
Oh god. So yeah, he's great in this movie.
He's really great in this movie.
But it's really interesting because that scene happens.
Yep.
He breaks all the equipment, which is strange behavior.
Yeah, but it's him trying to keep them from leaving.
Yeah, and you'd think that... No, well, actually, I think the first thought, and they kind of have it themselves, is that, oh, this person has turned.
Yes.
And I think the audience are also meant to go that way. But I'm pretty sure that Carpenter meant for that to be a bit more ambiguous, because when he's in quarantine, this is the only person they actually isolate entirely.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They give him like a thing of vodka and 2 cans of beans.
Yeah, they just leave him out in the
snow. And then you get that terrible scene where they go to check on him and it's just a noose hanging there.
And it's not mentioned. It's literally hanging right next to his face. Yeah. He's eating his beans. And it's just there nonchalantly.
No, it's just him saying like, I'm fine now, and if I wasn't fine before, I'm better now. You can take me back in. And you just see Kurt Russell's eyes flick to this noose, just him like, oh, you should stay here.
Yeah, I was like, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's Pliskin.
He gets a bit Pliskin in this. He has I don't know, Giles. I'm a real light sleeper.
Yeah.
He has a couple of moments.
That's when he goes completely insane.
Admittedly, they locked him out in like, what is it, minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. He's losing it.
Yeah. He was like, no one's killing me in this one.
Yeah, him there with a stick of dynamite and a flamethrower.
Not one stick, a freaking bundle.
A bundle of dynamite. Admittedly.
And then he gets this bandolero, like you were saying, of dynamites around him.
Like he's gonna go hunt down the miner who killed his wife. But
oh, God.
the one thing I will say is this movie has this amazing ability for audience serendipity. This thing where, like, once in a while, a line is said exactly as the audience is thinking it. Mm-hmm. And it kind of brings you in with the characters, because the characters are as surprised by what is happening as you are.
Yeah, and it's not over the top. Like, in a lot of horror movies, especially, like, even really good ones, the reactions are almost always unrealistic. They either do really stupid things... which still happens to this day.
Oh, yeah, completely.
That's a trope that's never going away.
Nope.
Or they react to situations way too overtly or underwhelmingly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they see something that's clearly a problem or a situation that's clearly insane, and they just go like, oh, alright, I guess I'll join it. Like, no rational person would do that.
No. I mean, here they're losing it, but they're losing it in a way that I can...
And that is entirely realistic.
To their character. Giles is losing his temper. Windows is trying to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Mac is trying to keep a hold on everything, but clearly is kind of not able to most of the time. It's this weird dichotomy. And
McCready is solving problems. That's all he can do. That's the only way he can stay in control.
Exactly. And there are these wonderful moments where you really like have these interactions where they're talking about things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, and it's kind of like, look, we found his stuff and we think he's one of them. We've left him outside and he's trying to get in, and you have this 30-second debate. What if we're wrong? No, it has to be him. And they're talking themselves into a course of action they clearly don't want to take.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, those little moments are what you're missing in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, no, it's just that's what makes it so believable, and what makes this movie so much more. I wouldn't say horrifying, because it's not really horrifying,
shocking.
But it's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best part of that is that once in a while, they really do get you.
Yeah.
The timing and the pacing, like they've set up a beat for the movie, and you think, I know what's going to happen. And then either 2 steps in front or behind what you're expecting, it takes a sharp left.
Although, I don't think there was a single jump scare in this movie. Not in the traditional sense.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. I'll give you 2 that I think would qualify, but not in a cheap way.
Yeah, like it's not like boo. It's not like those kind of jump scares.
But it is when you're in a tense situation, but the tension is broken by the horror in ways you don't expect.
Yeah, like I guess for example is when they're doing the blood tests.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's fine. That could be. Because
we're building, and now we've established a pattern, everything's fine, bang!
Yeah, but it's sort of like you're told beforehand that this is going to happen for one of them.
Yeah.
You just don't know when.
Yeah, but they're setting it up, and they're filming it in a way that when it does happen, it is a surprise.
Sure, yeah.
And the same way with the defibrillator.
Yeah, that's true.
You're in a situation where you know something has got to break, but it breaks left and not right. It's coming from a different area than you think it's going to.
Yeah. Yeah, but nothing really jumps out of the screen.
No, and they don't do a cheap jump scare.
Yeah.
There's no cat.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was just about to say there's a fake out with the cat. There's none of that.
Because Alien has that, and it pisses me off every time.
As good as Alien is, and I love that movie to bits.
So do I, completely.
It has that.
Harry Dean Stanton, sorry, that cat. God damn it.
But yeah, so this is an amazing horror movie that should be on anyone's list to watch. If
you're a horror hound, I mean, if you're not a horror person, avoid. If you don't have a strong stomach for
yes, that's true. We should put that caveat where some of the monster designs are just so good that it's actually difficult.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it gets you.
There are a couple that are just
not as great.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it has a lot to do with the quality of film and stuff.
Yeah, what we were watching is pretty much a direct, like a DVD version of this movie. I don't know if there's a 4K version of this yet. I suspect this movie doesn't hold up quite so well in 4K.
Yeah, because then everything is much brighter and more visible.
Yeah, and I think this movie...
Unless they've remastered the color. If they've color graded it, then maybe they can get away with it.
Oh, please, please, please. Because there's a lot of these movies that aren't surviving the 4K transfer of this nature because...
Face Off famously with the
stunt doubles.
It's so obvious.
Wow, that was bad.
Yeah, Face Off, man.
I mean, I love that movie, but when you have John Travolta, Nick Cage... John McSmith and Bob Hardbarty are just flying through the air.
They look nothing like, not even the right hair color, not the right build.
John Travolta, why is the guy who played him in, Tarantino movie with a mullet flying through the air here for just a second?
What happened?
Who are you? And we're back.
Yeah. No, so yes, I think some of the creature designs, if you can find a cut of the movie that's slightly worse quality, is actually probably beneficial in that case.
You're probably looking for an original cut. You're not looking for a remaster on this one. Unless it's I don't know, you can look into it. I haven't done the research.
Yeah, I haven't done the research either.
Because, I mean, the one that really, we mentioned Terminator earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that's a movie that
did not hold up to 4K.
That didn't hold up to 4K that great, especially
it wasn't amazing for the time. Like, it was good, but it wasn't really amazing. Good.
There's certain parts of it that were pretty good, but yeah, I mean...
Like, even for the time, because they had a pretty restrained budget.
Oh yeah, little tiny budget.
Yeah, so what they were able to pull off was
huge.
What they were able to pull off is amazing, but the actual effects weren't the best of the time.
Yes.
But it was still good. That has not really held up.
There's also the fact that, and I hate to bring it up, but one of the big kind of little, like, here is the problem with 4K things, is that Arnold Schwarzenegger walks nude in that movie. which you don't see anything really of in the original cut because it's dark.
Yeah.
4K has fixed that problem, apparently.
Yep. You see it in all its glory.
Oh, man, did you look?
Of course I looked. You think I'm not going to look at the governor's penis?
Yeah. Oh, my God, that movie.
True Lies. I mean, the little baby face and
God,
stuff.
I haven't watched that movie in forever. I mean, you mean Total Recall?
Total Recall, sorry. Yes,
Total Recall. True Lies. Babyface is True Lies.
No,
I mean, that little actor.
True Lies has other problems.
The horse!
I'm talking about Total Recall. You're absolutely right. Total Recall, those effects. Whew!
Yeah, Total Recall, I bet, doesn't hold in 4K.
No,
I mean, personal favorite, though.
In full HD, it doesn't hold up, so I can only imagine.
I haven't watched that movie in so long. We should watch that. I haven't watched that in ages. But
do you want to watch the Colin Farrell remake?
No! Oh, mercy, no.
It's got Kate Beckinsale.
I don't like Kate Beckinsale.
Jennifer Beals. Or no, Jessica Biel.
Who?
The other one.
I don't. All of those...
The one in Seventh Heaven. The one married to Timberlake. Justin Timberlake. Are they married? I don't know. They're a couple. That Beal.
I love the fact that you are giving me the most useless frames of reference humanly possible.
Seventh Heaven. Who can remember that other than me?
I didn't even remember that existed until you just said the words.
Oh,
I just had Total Recall. I just wait. That was on TV. Oh, mercy. I forgot I didn't even remember Justin Timberlake was a thing.
Yeah, well, stick with me. I'll give you all your Snyder details and your Timberlake.
You goddamn millennial.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, like Guns Akimbo. But...
Well, I'm so glad I haven't seen that.
Oh, man, dude, you saw the paper.
I saw the promotional photo, and I was just like, that looks ridiculous, and I'm not watching it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a movie that can live up to its own ridiculousness. It doesn't really go where it needs to go for that movie to work.
No. Do we want to go there?
No, we're not going to go there.
Okay, thank God.
We're just not going to.
I mentioned Snyder. I think that's enough.
I think we've had enough.
I
don't need to. No.
Holy shit.
Oh, mercy. Oh, God. What was the thing I had today? Oh, memories on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have mine disabled to show up on my feed, but they're still showing up in the side view of my thing. Okay. And I clicked on it today just for fun. And it's around this time, apparently, many years ago, I was super hyped about this new movie where the director of 300 and Kevin Costner and I was like, oh my God, look at all these people who are making this movie.
Yeah,
and now I look back and I'm like, oh, you silly child, you had too much hope.
It's a Superman movie. What the hell were you expecting?
Entertainment?
Yeah, that's true. It's not really all that entertaining, is it? It's a very melodramatic movie.
Okay, but no, sorry, that movie just... I know we shouldn't go there, but I need to point out, that is the movie where you are watching Superman and Lois Lane heavily make out with all of the 9/11 imagery happening in the background.
Oh, yeah.
The towers are just falling.
Yeah.
And here's the thing someone pointed out to me, or I heard somewhere else, I can't remember where I got it from, but you gotta remember, Superman has the super hearing.
Yeah.
He is making out to the dulcet tones of,
yeah.
Help me!
And it's funny because they actually refer to that earlier in the movie.
Yes!
Where he loses control of the situation because he's hearing too much. And his mother had to calm him down.
So apparently the screams of the innocent is the equivalent to him of down, down, down,
hey,
down.
Man, if you've seen the other movie, Batman v Superman, clearly that's the case. He gets off on this stuff.
Yeah, for him it's just careless whispers. It's just like, my legs!
Oh, God.
No, it's so bad.
Oh, man. If there's even 1% chance that he can turn, you gotta take it as an absolute certainty. Yeah. Batfleck, man. Batfleck. Dude, Batfleck is coming back.
What?
Aren't you excited?
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is it?
Well, the Zack Snyder Justice League cut next year. We've talked about this on the show before.
It's the thing you keep threatening me with. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm threatening you with the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman.
I forget all the things you threaten me with.
That's the only thing I've been threatening
you with. It's like your little...
It's literally the only thing.
It's your little bag of torture tools, and they're all called Zack Snyder's.
Yeah.
The Watchmen cut, the Dawn of something cut. Aquaman standing on top of something going, oh yeah! It's just...
Oh, good God. I hope that they remove that from the movie.
Oh, I said no. Keep it. And replace all of his dialogue with it. Sure. Every time Jason Momoa talks, it's just, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then Pitbull has to make the score for the movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just completely out of nowhere.
Completely out of nowhere, just some random Pitbull song that's just
him jumping out of an airplane, and then Pitbull starts. It's like, what am I playing?
Alright. I know where this movie's going.
Alright. Yeah, there's about to be a music video in Florida.
Jesus. But yeah, no. So yeah, Batfleck is coming back for that. There are rumors that they might do... So in the last few minutes here.
Oh, mercy.
For all those Jared Leto Joker fans.
Oh, God, no.
There might be hope yet. So
why
obviously,
do you do this to me?
Hang on. This is fresh off the whatever you want to call it.
Fresh off the press.
Yes, fresh off the press.
They're gonna shoot Jared Leto on live TV.
I wouldn't really call this press. I would call it more like a coat hanger or something.
Okay, right, all right. Printing press, you idiots.
I know. I'm joking. Anyways, so since fans were able to make it so that HBO Max or Warner Brothers actually. Caved and then gave Snyder his chance to release his cut of Justice League. Now David Ayer, the maker of Suicide Squad, not the James Gunn remake that's happening in a few years.
Is that a remake? Oh God.
Yeah, we're talking about the 2016 Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah,
Jared Leto Joker, baby.
Jared Leto Joker. Yep.
Yeah, he's been putting out some feelers and I'm guessing he's really hoping that fans are gonna rally up and have HBO Max. Give him his chance to show his cut of the movie. Because that was so wildly different, apparently. Yeah, and what that means is, because according to him and to Jared Leto, there's like a whole hour's worth of Jared Leto scenes that were cut.
Yes. So, let me get this straight.
So that means if he does get his cut, go to change.org if you want to see this.
The one thing they did right. The one decision. They kept the katana. They kept the belly dancer girl.
And this is Katana. I just not mention. I love that scene.
I'm sorry. This is Katana. Her soul traps to... No, her sword traps the souls of her enemies.
That's it. That's the whole...
Everybody else got a goddamn music video in a folder. What is this? Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, dude from Altered Carbon.
Yeah. What did I see them in before that? Who's RoboCop?
Oh no!
Yeah,
is that the guy from RoboCop?
Yeah, the remake.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's Joel Kinnaman.
No!
Don't ask me how I know all these things. I've actually seen the remake.
Oh, so did I. It made me so angry.
So yeah, for all of you fans of the Jared Leto Joker, go out there and voice your opinion. We might be able to get some more Jared Leto Joker footage.
Yeah, then you should... I had so many things I was wanting to say there, but I'm resisting with all my might.
Okay.
I don't think we could tell our audience to go and slam their head into a wall. I don't think that's...
No, that's not
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
I wouldn't say that. You're lovely people, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sorry, you like the Jared Leto.
So for all the fans of Jared Leto, all 5 of us, we gotta rally behind him.
Okay, so for all of you out there who don't like Jared Leto, normal people, let's remember, Fight Club. Edward Norton beating him to a pulp. It's on YouTube. You can put that stuff on loop.
That's true.
Just make your day.
I love the blonde hair that he has.
He's the blonde hair, and you know what? Make it even better. Put on 30 Seconds to Mars in the background, and you can just listen to 30 Seconds to Mars while
I wrap my hands around your neck.
Just him being punched in the face. Make your day, folks. Come on.
Yeah.
So something for everybody. Yeah. We are inclusive here.
But he was in Requiem for a Dream. We were recommending that movie.
We were. Yeah. Guess what happens to it?
Yeah, I know.
Why do you think I like it?
So yeah, all 5 of us have to rally behind David Ayer.
Change.org.
David Ayer.
You said.
David Ayer.
Yes, because David Ayer is such a pinnacle and beacon of the modern world.
Well, Well, he gave us Training Day.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about
That's
it.
about it.
He's also given us plenty of other things we didn't ask for afterwards.
That's true. Like Suicide
Like Suicide Squad. God, that movie's awful. This is Slipknot.
Yeah. He can climb things.
He can climb things. 20 seconds later, poof.
That's so obvious. Oh, God.
You can almost hear the executives. It's kind of like, all right, this movie's going to be ultra metal. I read the DC Guide to Villains. I have an idea.
Oh, God. You see now why I enjoy talking about this? It's an endless source of entertainment.
There's nothing funnier than Angry Richard, apparently.
There is.
And that's why every time you bring this up...
Yeah, it's too good. It's too good not to do it.
Oh, the aggravation.
So yeah, that's fresh off the coat hanger.
Yeah, fresh off the coat hanger. In a very... oh, no, I'm not even going to go there. There are things you can use a coat hanger for. So...
Oh, God. Okay, that's it. We're ending this. It's over.
The Thing, great movie. Watch it.
Yeah, highly recommend. It's it's pinnacle of success.
Yeah.
Watch it. It actually didn't succeed, but it should.
It succeeded afterwards. It's a cult hit now. Yeah, this has been the Tangent Trilogy, man. This is nuts.
Kurt Russell just brings it out of us.
Yeah, we're like we really just I think look at these movies and go, they're great. We don't need to say anything more, do we?
True.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
God.
They're a vehicle for us to tangent.
Yeah, well, I think that's almost the show at this point, so who cares?
At this point,
that's just what we do now. I don't care.
Alright, so where can they reach us?
Oh, you can listen to us on wherever you find good podcasts. We are on
iTunes,
Spotify,
Stitcher,
and YouTube.
SoundCloud,
YouTube.
Yep.
If you like what you hear, you want to give us some comments, some requests to stop tangenting, you know.
You can either reach us on our Facebook page, Sight on Screen, or on, or you can email us at
sightonscreen@gmail.com.
Exactly.
All in one word.
Spread the word.
Yep.
If you enjoy what you're listening to.
If you want to support the show, and you want to support the show in some other way, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/sightonscreen. But yeah, spreading the word. Most
important. We're doing this out of a passion, really.
Yeah, completely. So. We're not doing this for the money. Hashtag Tangent Decide.
Hashtag Tangent Decide. Yeah, let's start that trending.
Yeah, let's see where that goes.
Yeah. So
what to do when a conversation has been completely derailed.
Yes. So thank you so much for listening.
As always, it is a pleasure.
Yeah, and we'll hope to see you again next time.
Yep, toodaloo. Jared Leto.
Jesus.